Prince Harry has truly lost it. You'd think that after multiple tell-all interviews have gone horribly and ended with him not only being exposed for lies, but for looking unstable, he'd stop. But no. Instead, he's upping the act, leading me personally to believe that someone needs to up the dosage or the therapy because whatever he's doing is not helping. For someone who is so concerned about safety, he was surely wandering around London ringing doorbells looking for a friend who apparently doesn't live there anymore. This embarrassment came after Harry's hypocritical interview with the BBC, where he blames his father, aka the king, for his lack of security, while simultaneously acting like someone holier than thou, saying there's no point in fighting anymore.
There's no point in continuing to fight anymore.
That's easy to say when you're the person behind the trigger. And nothing like a little PR moment at Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour to lessen the bullet. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Angela here, and I'm truly in shock when it comes to Prince Harry because we're usually taught that when something works for you, you keep doing it. When something doesn't, you stop. In Harry's case, no one loved him more after he was Meghan's assistant tea spiller on Oprah. No one wanted to open their doors for him after he made Tom Bradby flabbergasted by everything he had to say. He didn't get any more respect when he gossiped about his family in Spare, while simultaneously crying about being the Spare and also going on that tell-all interview with Anderson Cooper. And now with the BBC interview, where there is no such thing as privacy for his family or any sense of security for anyone when Harry's in the picture. Speaking of privacy, you guys know that unlike what Prince Hypocrite preaches, I care a lot about my privacy and security, especially when it comes to the internet. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. I'm no stranger to using a VPN, a virtual private network, to hide my IP address and keep my internet connection secure. When you're connected to public Wi-Fi like at a coffee shop or airport, cyber criminals on the same network can easily snoop on your activity, leading to your private information being stolen, like your passwords, files, and photos. That's where NordVPN comes in. It not only shields your connection with powerful encryption, creating a secure tunnel between your device and the internet, but it's also one of the fastest VPNs out there. Even if someone's trying to spy on you, they won't be able to see a thing. You can check it out at nordvpn.com/scandalousmedia, and you can get a 2-year plan for less than $3 per month plus 4 extra months for free using my code SCANDALOUSMedia. NordVPN's unique Threat Protection Pro feature safeguards you from fake online stores, helping you avoid the rising wave of shopping scams designed to mimic legitimate retailers. In the first 3 months of 2025 alone, NordVPN blocked over 300 million of these scams. The feature also steps in if you accidentally click on a phishing link, automatically scanning the websites you visit and blocking malicious pages before they can do any damage. NordVPN also makes it easy to get around annoying content blocks, whether you're traveling abroad or just want access to shows available in other countries on platforms like Netflix, Hulu, or Disney+. NordVPN lets you stream as if you were right there, unlocking full libraries no matter where you are. That's how I'm able to watch my favorite UK-only shows, even while I'm in the US. You can use my code SCANDALOUSMedia on any of their annual plans and save by getting an extra 4 months free at nordvpn.com/scandalousmedia. Privacy is a top priority with NordVPN. They don't track or share what you do online, and you can even turn on Kill Switch to make sure your data is never exposed by accident. Head over to nordvpn.com/scandalousmedia to get my exclusive deal plus 4 months extra using code SCANDALOUSMedia to protect yourself online now. And now, let's take a look at someone who preaches about privacy and protection, but acts in a way that completely contradicts it. The BBC interview. After Meghan's podcast episode with Jamie Kern-Lima turned out to be a disaster, Harry quickly claimed the title for Disaster of the Month when he lost his appeal for taxpayer-funded security, and like a sore loser, he made sure everyone knew just how bitter he was about it. He said,
I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious.
Usually when you want to reconcile with someone, you take actions toward that and not away from that. The fact that he's sitting in yet another tell-all interview instead of in therapy shows us that he hasn't learned anything over the last 5 years. He then says something which I find absolutely insane.
I know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff.
To bring up your father, saying you don't know how much longer he has because of his battle with cancer, and then to blame your relationship on the delusional security case you pursued is next level insane. Not only are you using your father to try to get the sympathy of the public, while simultaneously hinting at panic like maybe he's not doing as well as people think, a common rumor, but you're also belittling the fallout to one thing, which is you wanted the benefits from a job you left, which shows absolutely no accountability on his behalf, and quite frankly, insanity. He then stutters some more about reconciliation and brings up the Invictus Games.
As I learned through the First Nations throughout Canada because of the Invictus Game.
And how does Meghan feel about this alleged reconciliation? Because as far as anyone's concerned, she's now made herself appear as the doting wife in public who can't stop posting her children on social media, and has made what used to be her war with the royal family now Harry's war. The fact is, Harry lost his case in the High Court, but he continues to blame his father, saying,
control and ability in my father's hands. Ultimately, this whole thing could be resolved through him.
It's always this could be resolved if you do something, and never what can I do to fix things. He continues saying that it's not about King Charles intervening, but instead he should be stepping aside, insinuating that he's the reason his security case got blocked.
Not necessarily by intervening, but by stepping aside, allowing the experts to do what is necessary and to carry out an RMB.
But the experts did do their job. What's not clicking? Harry argues that this was unfair and that he's being singled out for inferior treatment, but if we take a look at the experts and the facts, several members of the royal family don't have taxpayer-funded security, including Prince Andrew, Princess Beatrice, Princess Eugenie, Zara and Mike Tyndall, Princess Anne, Prince Edward, and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. So to what degree of delusion Harry must partake in to not understand that simple piece of information is quite alarming. He's not a working royal, so he's not getting tax-paying security, just like Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Princess Anne, Prince Edward, and Sophie are working royals, but because they don't have full-time security protection, they are only provided with security when engaged in official duties, something that was going to be provided for Harry, but he also was unhappy with that decision. The High Court initially ruled that the government's decision was not unlawful and did not violate any of Harry's rights. Harry appealed this decision, but the Court of Appeal also rejected his arguments, finding that the government's decision was neither irrational nor unfair, and that it was a sensible decision to downgrade the protection in light of Harry's change in status. And yet this man claims that his status didn't change.
Well, my status hasn't changed.
It doesn't take a genius to realize that he went from doing royal engagements on behalf of the monarchy, and now he's a background character in his wife's Netflix show. You don't think that's changed? He tries to justify it, saying,
I am who I am. I am part of what I'm part of, and I can never escape that.
But I thought the whole point of leaving the royal family was to escape exactly that. As a matter of fact, there hasn't been one privacy incident with Harry and Meghan besides the fake New York car chase that even had the taxi driver and the mayor questioning their version of events. He even said, if something happens to me, to my wife, or to my father's grandchildren, look at where the responsibility lies. Some people want history to repeat itself as it did with my mother. Harry, who hasn't been chased by paparazzi in over 20 years and is actually pushed aside by his wife, as we saw recently in New York when they had a 4-car convoy show up to protect them, only for them to draw no crowds yet again, is still the only one who seems desperate enough to have his mother's fate. According to his wife, she is doing daily school drop-offs for like 3 hours every single morning, and yet no one has once spotted her. So where is this hypothetical fatal scenario coming from, aside from Harry's own romanticization of something going wrong so someone can finally care? It really is sad because in a world where there is so much pain and death, somehow Prince Harry is trying to convince us that he has it super hard in his mansion and a life that he chose. It's really telling that someone who hasn't endured hardship is actively looking for hardship to feel something or to even feel validated in some way. This man is struggling in front of our eyes, and because he refuses to take the accountability that he's forcing his family to take, it's only going to get worse. If you guys want a deep dive into how Harry became this hollow shell of a person, check out The Psychology of Prince Harry. He is so smug when he talks about his family not forgiving him, as if he solved some great injustice that's made him a hero.
Of course, some members of my family will never forgive me for writing a book. Of course, they will never forgive me for lots of things.
He is also in great denial because the first step to healing is to accept your role in things. Sure, things may have happened to you, but it's your responsibility to understand that not everything was out of your control, especially your reaction. With Harry, he's blaming the UK, the government, and his father on his paranoia regarding not bringing Meghan or the kids back to the UK.
Bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point and the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything.
He lets out a self-pity chuckle when he says they're gonna miss everything, as if they so desperately want to be there and someone is stopping them.
Gonna miss is, well, everything.
He gives the same spiel of loving his country.
You know, I love my country. I always have done. Despite what some people in that country have done.
And again, it's always what people are doing to him and not what he's doing to people.
So, you know, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK, of course I do. And I think that it's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, you know, my children my homeland.
He lets out a little laugh like he's a victim, and it's truly astonishing to watch. It's like everything he's done, all the shit he's talked, the way he backstabbed his entire family, the lies he spewed somehow doesn't exist. And he's convinced himself he's the injured party. If he's the victim in his own mind after all of that, then what does that make his family who haven't uttered a single word? Saints? Martyrs? Or simply the true casualties of his self-serving narrative? He then goes into this rabbit hole about the old government and the new government, and please let me know if any of you can make any sense of what he's saying.
This all was initiated under a previous government.
There is now a new government. I have had it described to me, once people knew about the facts, that this is an old-fashioned...
A good old-fashioned establishment stitch-up.
And that's what it feels like.
He's throwing around phrases like a good old-fashioned establishment stitch-up as if he's the lone crusader being hunted by the very system he once benefited from. It's laughable. He's not just rewriting his own history. He's trying to recast himself as the tragic hero of a drama no one else is watching. The man truly believes he's being targeted by some grand institutional conspiracy, when in reality, the only thing crumbling around him is the credibility he torched all on his own. Delusion doesn't even begin to cover it. He blames his fallout with his family on this 5-year security show, accusing them of essentially not caring about human life and safety.
There have been so many disagreements, differences between me and some of my family. This current situation that has been ongoing for 5 years with regard to human life and safety is the sticking point. It is the only thing that's left.
It's the only thing that's left? Funny, because that's the only thing they stuck to because they didn't get what they originally wanted, which was to be half in and half out with the royal family. Does he think we're all stupid? That we weren't all there from the beginning and witnessed all their lies? I covered Meghan and Harry's Netflix soap opera intensively on this channel, and security wasn't necessarily the only thing they focused on, but rather a multitude of excuses which they all threw at the wall, hoping something sticks. He then released an official statement that just consisted of blah blah blah. Pause if you want to read it, but I'll save you time and energy and tell you that it's basically him crying about the court's decision and claiming that the royal household plays a key role in this process and that bias and secrecy were involved. He really thinks he's in some action movie where he has to save the world one victim narrative at a time. Leave it to him to claim he's been subjected to extremist threats as if he didn't proudly flaunt his kill count and borderline war crimes in spare. He was basically begging for attention. Every military veteran knows you never talk about kill counts, yet he turned it into a marketing hook. Then, predictably, he invokes his mother, claiming that these are the same institutions that preyed on her. Pack it up, Harry. It's been decades. Times have changed, and he hasn't stirred even 3% of Diana's fame or media frenzy. Yet here he is, clinging to her legacy like it's the only storyline he has left. While he is out here fantasizing about stories and talking about the truth that only exists inside his head, what we do have evidence of is his late grandmother at 19 years old being shot at 6 times and still keeping her stoic bravery, and hasn't ever brought that up, I fear.
Been moved towards Horse Guards Parade for the start of trooping the colour. 6 shots were fired. The Queen's horse, Burmese, was startled, but the Queen controlled him.
Or the way his father handled shots fired at him in Sydney in 1994.
It happened as Prince Charles was being introduced to the crowd at Darling Harbour. There were 2 shots.
I'm not saying it's cool to get shot at or someone should be shot at, but I'm saying look at the people in his family who have actually been in danger and look at the way they talk about it or don't talk about it. Harry is trapped in those delusions around the clock, convincing us it's a daily struggle he can't escape. This is the same man who can't draw a crowd who is crying for someone to pay for his security, one that he would have if he attends official royal events, but no. He wants to be treated like a king in the country he doesn't even want to give back to. But again, this is the issue with him. He believes otherwise.
This position, it wasn't a choice. I've served my country for 35 years. I believe that I am still continuing to serve my country.
Liar!
Public service is my life. That is the dedication that will never change.
He's continuing to serve his country by doing what? Picking berries for his wife's alleged jam? Giving his wife a platform to call his country racist? I mean, what is not clicking with him? When asked about how his kids can't see their grandparents or cousins, he stutters and can't even formulate a sentence.
How are you feeling about this decision? Because
Clearly, you have two children, Archie, Lilibet. They're not able to see their grandfather, their uncle, their cousins, in a way that you feel is safe for them. So what's your feelings kind of moving forward? Is there any way that this could be resolved?
Firstly, I'm devastated.
What is he even saying?
Not so much as devastated as with the loss that I am about the people behind the decision.
Harry not bringing his kids to the UK is a choice. It has nothing to do with security, but it has everything to do with milking the tax-paying people dry for his and his wife's ego and then using that as an excuse.
Feeling as though this is okay. Is it a win for them?
I can't even believe what I'm looking at and hearing.
Is it a win that, that I don't get the protection that the threats and risks and impact say that I should?
What the hell are you talking about?
What risks and impacts? You can't even draw a crowd in Colombia,
La llegada de los duques Harry y Meghan.
let alone in New York, let alone anywhere else.
I would hope they wouldn't consider it a win. And I'm sure there's some people out there, probably most likely the people that wish me harm, consider this a huge win.
He's like a toddler fighting with trolls online. It reminds me of when he was at that event swearing that trolls are mad because he's happy and in love.
The people I feel most sorry about are the trolls, so I feel sorry for them. Genuinely, I do. I mean that. But yes.
Sure, Jan.
No one who is happy and secure in life is communicating with trolls, I'll tell you that. But he can't even formulate a thought.
There have been so many disagreements, differences between me and some of my family.
Pack it up, Grandpa, and let's get you to bed. That's genuinely how I feel whenever I hear Harry speak. I lose viable brain cells. Now, shifting gears to something truly hilarious, let's talk about Harry looking completely erratic and ringing a bunch of different doorbells looking for his friend. This is the man we're supposed to take seriously? Ding dong ring, one man, many doorbells, zero friends. According to one surprised family, Harry knocked on the wrong door not once, not twice, but 3 times before finally stumbling upon his mystery friend's home. A Ring doorbell snap captured him wandering mid-journey, phone in hand, standing awkwardly outside an unfamiliar front door. One local resident told The Sun that their housekeeper answered the door but didn't recognize Harry at all. "We were shocked when we checked the footage and realized it was him. We only put it together once the neighbors started buzzing about it," they said. The neighborhood was reportedly baffled by his surprise visit, with several noting how odd it was that Harry appeared completely lost. "I don't think many people would just walk down a road knocking on doors, let alone if you don't feel safe," one neighbor said. Harry reportedly knocked on 2 houses before finding the right one, with one neighbor observing that they were at completely opposite ends of the road. For someone so concerned about his safety, he sure is wandering around London ringing wrong doorbells. I think he should be more concerned about his mental health rather than anything else. He looks completely distraught, with people taking bets that he's hitting up an alleged dealer before he's hitting up a friend. However, there is no truth to that, but he does look quite odd and frazzled. A source tells the Daily Mail that Harry was trying to find his friends, John and Georgina Vaughan, who he didn't realize had moved. As they put it, he was looking for a friend who used to live in this road, and now they rent the house out to people from overseas. They've rented it out, they've moved away, and that's all I'll say. Another resident told the outlet that he was trying to remember either the parents or his friends who lived at the top of the road. The people he knew have long gone and moved elsewhere. Wow. So he was just out there looking for old friends who moved away years ago? That's interesting, and by interesting I mean suspicious, because let's be real, this is the same man who, according to multiple reports, cut off most of his longtime UK friends after Meghan entered the picture. But now he suddenly feels like reconnecting with people he apparently hasn't kept in touch with enough to even know they moved. Either this was the most awkward nostalgia tour ever, or something just doesn't smell right. The source added, "I think he got the numbers muddled up. I wondered what he was doing wandering around our street. If he'd knocked on my door, I would have invited him in and said, I can give you all the information you need, but he didn't knock on my door, and I just feel very sorry for him." What do you guys think that's all about? PR rodeo and disaster after disaster. From one PR disaster to the next, it's been a non-stop spiral. Meghan and Harry popped up at Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter show because nothing says low profile like a stadium full of cameras. Mr. Privacy himself was spotted glancing around, likely checking if the lenses were rolling or just making sure we all knew he was there. It's interesting that they didn't attend the April 28th show at SoFi with their besties Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Gayle King. Meghan, of course, recapped everything for us on her Instagram, posting a PDA-filled video alongside a bunch of pictures because nothing like updating the public 24/7 after claiming they want privacy. And no, they won't ever live that down. Check out this video of Harry's very public birthday message to a veteran.
Wishing you a very, very happy 100th birthday today. The Invictus delegation has just returned from Ghana and says that you are in fine spirits. Thank you for the book. I look forward to reading it. Thank you for everything that you do.
What is this? He does Cameo now? Thank you for the book, I look forward to reading it. Why not tell him that yourself? Why is everything publicized, especially by someone who no longer has an official government role? This is so sad, oh my god. Meghan, get him a role in your Netflix show, please. Oh wait, she isolated him from everything. I guess Meghan is busy with the potential lawsuit by a fan who suffered catastrophic burns using Meghan's homemade bath salt recipe. The fan, Robin Patrick, who's also diabetic, said that Meghan had a duty of care to provide adequate warnings to viewers that the salt could have an adverse effect on people who carry the condition due in part to the essential oils used within the concoction. The fan watched the clip of Meghan making the bath salt gift for her makeup artist, and since the episode aired, skincare experts warned people of the DIY risks. The fan said that after experiencing burning and discomfort, she applied Gold Bond lotion and lidocaine sprays to try to alleviate the pain. While showering, she experienced intense burning as water contacted the affected areas and developed into ulcers. Meghan's lawyer hit back, saying that the fan should have been aware of the risks of taking the salts, which contain ingredients unsuitable for people suffering from diabetes.
But I am not modest when it comes to the amount of salts I put in the bath.
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know...
The lawyer's response was a bit sassy and unprofessional, leading me to believe that it was possibly Meghan doing her usual whispers again, as the letter read, "As your letter recognizes, a duty of care requires a foreseeable injury. It was not foreseeable that you would disregard the instructions on the Epsom salt packaging in attempting to make and use your own bath salts."
I don't know what the that was.
So now they're shifting blame onto the woman who suffered a skin reaction from Meghan's bath salt recipe. This is exactly the issue. Meghan seems far more focused on selling an aspirational American princess lifestyle than on genuinely caring about the people buying into it. There wasn't even a sincere message of concern for the person who was affected. It's honestly unbelievable. At the end of the day, everything just feels like a cash grab. Another cash grab is how the Diana Award is being exploited by Harry. Just look at the partner tiers for a charity run by people I wouldn't exactly trust. A silver partnership costs $50,000 to $70,000 a year. Gold, that'll be $100,000 to $130,000. And platinum, a staggering $200,000 to $260,000 annually. And for what exactly? To attend a few events and claim you're shaping the strategic direction of youth impact initiatives? Yes, that's the actual description. It's vague, performative, and reeks of pay-to-play prestige. No thanks, I'll pass. Well guys, that's it for this video. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think that Harry is justified for how he's feeling about his security? Is there a bigger game at play behind the scenes and he's actually being sabotaged? What do you think Meghan is up to lately? Let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe for new videos each week. Follow us on our social media, and as always, I'll see you next time.